And welcome. It's Monday, 19th May 2025. Mental health is real. Seek help. End the stigma. On the news this evening, NAFDAC raids fake missionary clinic in Port Harcourt. Fresh oil spill hits Oshika community in Rivers State. Southeast representatives demand JAMB registrar's resignation. Fresh 2025 UTME. Rivers State administrator calls for civil service transformation. And on the foreign scene, Israel to allow trucks of baby food into Gaza. I am Constance Irele Mega. We're going on a short commercial break. When we return, we'll bring you details of the news. To stay tuned.
We, the Ehuna Bar.
Agency for Food and Drugs Administration and Control, NAFDAC, says its officials have smashed a syndicate posing as missionaries and healthcare providers to distribute unregistered drugs in the Aboloma axis of Port Harcourt. The director, South-South Zone of NAFDAC, Chukwuma Olibu, said this while briefing newsmen in Port Harcourt today. Olibu said the discovery followed a tip-off from a concerned resident that led NAFDAC officials to the location where fake eye drops, cleansers, bottled water and tablets were being given to unsuspecting members of the public under the guise of evangelism. He said a woman, Mrs. Gladys Theophilus, who seemed to be administering the products, was arrested. Olibu said the arrest followed a tip-off. I beg your pardon. Olibu spoke to journalists.
It was gathered that some person that used this eye drop got their eyes swollen, while the fake doctor that is on the run assured them that the swollen eye is a sign that the drug is working, while assuring that the impurities in their eyes will be washed out as mucus and liquid comes out of their eyes. When the NAFDAC team stormed the town hall, they met a woman administering the fake drug to some persons waiting in turns. The middle-aged woman who was attending to the suspecting victims was arrested, while the fake doctor claimed to be outside the state when he was contacted on phone.
The NAFDAC director, Olibu, warned the public to discard items from the group as their products are not registered by any authority. He also urged residents to report suspicious drug activities, assuring them of their safety after reporting.
I hereby warn the general public to be aware of these unscrupulous elements claiming to be evangelists or missionaries and selling concoctions, poisons in the name of medicine to unsuspecting members of the public. These products are not registered, their claims are not verified by any government body. Anybody patronizing them is doing this at his own peril. The general public are advised to immediately report to NAFDAC wherever activities of these fake drugs, fake healthcare providers are on.
Our correspondent reports that the seized products have been moved to the NAFDAC's zonal office in Woji while investigations continue with the arrested suspect charged to court. Moving on, a fresh oil spill occurred early this morning in Oshika community in Hoda West local government area of Rivers State. The executive director of Youth and Environmental Advocacy Center, YIAC, Dr. Fineface Dumnamene, confirmed the incident during an interview with correspondent Soebi Oruwari. Now, he said the information came from a volunteer network set up to monitor oil-related activities across oil-producing communities in the Niger Delta.
The center received a report today of a massive crude oil spill in Ishaka community in Ahoda West local government area of Rivers State. Members of our volunteers network as well as the crude oil spill alert system reported that the spill occurred in the early hours of May 19, and they also alleged that the spill must not be unconnected with third-party interference, and the spill occurred on a pipeline right-of-way operated by Renaissance, the company that took over from Shell after the divestment. So as we speak, the oil spill is still on the ground and is still oozing and still spilling into the environment.
Dr. Dumna Mene said residents of Oshika community are deeply concerned about the spill and called on the National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency, NOSDRA, to conduct a thorough joint investigation to determine the cause.
So we call on the National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency to carry out a joint investigation visit to the sites with a view of determining the cause of the oil spill and then invoke relevant sections of the Petroleum Industry Act 2021 to hold whoever is responsible to account. The stakeholders are wondering, a lot of them are also surprised that this could happen. If joint investigation visit is carried out and they are able to really confirm if it is actually third-party interference or equipment failure, then they should be able to hold whoever is responsible to account, and then the community people will have that sense of justice having been served.
In a related development, Dr. Fineface Dumna Mene has called on the governments and security agencies to adopt a stick and carrot approach in tackling the growing cases of illegal oil refining operations in the Niger Delta. His advice follows the Nigerian Army's continued discovery of illegal refinery sites.
It is a clear message to the federal government of Nigeria that war cannot stop the acts of pipeline vandalism, crude oil theft and artisanal refineries going on in the Niger Delta. So what do we do in order to give the people landing and soft landing? Is for government to listen to advice on what to do to be able to fight this. That is to say, why the military approach has not given us what we needed so far for Nigeria to even produce above 2 million liters barrels of oil per day. I think we need to look at what these boys can do to give them alternative livelihood opportunities. The federal government should also make available and possible licenses for modern refineries in the Niger Delta as promised by the Buhari administration in February 2017.
The environmental rights activist alleged that illegal refining persists partly due to possible collaboration between some military personnel and oil pipeline surveillance contractors.
There is likely incident of connivance between security operatives and even some of those involved in pipeline, surveillance contracts with those who are vandalizing the pipeline, stealing crude oil and refining. And we have also gotten evidences of security involvement, them to keep moving and taking this product from point A to point B. It means that security operatives are allegedly involved in the process. So the connivance of security operatives are involved, are part of why we still have this persisting. So we must do everything we can to reduce the resources we push into the security operative and put some into providing alternative livelihood opportunities for the youth who are involved in this.
Also speaking, the president of the Kenisomo Ijo Foundation, Adaye West, voiced concern that despite the award of several pipeline surveillance contracts, illegal refining activities remain widespread in the region. Mr. West further called for better profiling and accountability of surveillance contractors who are tasked with protecting oil infrastructure.
So my advice to the government is to ensure that the kind of people they are sending to guide the pipelines pass through serious orientation. They should try to filter to know who and who they are sending there to guide the pipelines, and also the contractors, to ensure that the contractors are held responsible. If you threaten, if you tell them, look, this is your area of coverage, if anything happens here, you'll be held responsible. You see them wake up to their responsibility. No one, it's not just giving a contract to somebody that maybe is your brother, giving it to a competent contractor.
Recall that the Nigerian Army's 6th Division, in a statement again, said it discovered more illegal oil refinery sites and arrested more than 30 oil thieves. Away from that, scores of stranded students of Ignatius Ajuru University of Education have expressed worry over the picketing of the institution's gate by protesting members of Rumolumeni community, while some of them, in an interview with our correspondent, say their transport fare to school has been wasted. They also said lectures for the second semester, which was supposed to start today, have been disrupted. Others who are still writing the first semester general studies examination also spoke about the impact of the protest on their exam.
I came to school and I met some persons outside the gates, and I asked what was going on. They said it was because of employment. So since then I've been outside over 3 hours. If you go close, they will send you back.
Because I cannot just pay 3,000 going and coming to come here and not learn anything while we are outside under sun, under rain. They should settle them so that we can at least learn.
Some people come from far, so they don't know that they are doing this protest of it. I'm not happy about it because we can't actually access our school. We're supposed to start lectures today, and we haven't also written our GNS exam, so it's really affecting us, and we don't like what is going on. So the government should really do something about it.
In the meantime, the Southeast Caucus in the House of Representatives is demanding the resignation of the Registrar of the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, Professor Ishaq Oloyede. The lawmakers also called for the cancellation of the 2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination, UTME. Now, the caucus said a new UTME should be conducted between July and August this year. The results from JAMB's 2025 UTME were released on 9th May, and a breakdown showed that more than 78% of candidates scored less than 200 points out of the 400 maximum points obtainable, which led to protests, where JAMB undertook an early review and uncovered a major technical error. Well, last Wednesday, Professor Oloyede, during a press conference in Abuja, said the results of over 379,000 candidates were affected. We'll go on a commercial break, but before we do that, still to come, trial resumes in murder case of female police inspector. Stay tuned.
2 days workshop Alias training for primary school teachers inside Gokana LGA. Yes, so Gamma I talk more. Say in vain do we build the city when we do not first build the man. 9 May, Professor Gospel Pair, School Administrator Gokana LGA. He don't organize 2 days workshop Alias training for all primary school teachers from Gokana LGA. Experts for Bokoro, Bude Grand Gidigba to teach primary school teachers inside Gokana new skills and techniques to improve and impact the knowledge of our pupils, the next champion.
And now to the rest of the news. The chairman of the Action Democratic Party, ADP, in Rivers State, Mr. Christian Kendrick, says the political rift between the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike and Governor Siminalayi Fubara appears to have been resolved following recent remarks credited to the minister, in which he referred to Governor Fubara as his boy and son. In an interview with our correspondent, Kendrick described the perceived political reconciliation between the two key figures as one that comes with a cost that Rivers people must be prepared to bear.
Yeah, that comment can be likened to the comment of the father of the prodigal son. When you have forgiven, when you have made peace. From every indication, Wike and Fubara have made peace. Rivers people should know that this peace must have come with agreement that may not favor us. They have shared what they think they can share for this for the state, and it's a pity that those who have been sacrificed, those who have stood for this dispensation, have been sacrificed. And I have always said they will not find themselves to power again.
Mr. Kendrick said the FCT minister's comments suggest he will likely continue to support Governor Fubara above others in the political circle.
Wike loves Fubara more than any other person, even before the crisis and after this political impasse. There's nobody around Fubara, there's nobody around Wike that Wike cherish more than Fubara. So he has made it clear in his statement that his problem is not Fubara. Fubara is a son, like he has clearly stated. His problem are those who told him clearly that they will not serve father and also serve son, that they are his problem. So we are watching as things are unfolding.
However, the ADP chairman expressed concern that many of the emerging political leaders aligned with Governor Fubara may end up as the sacrificial lambs in the process of this political settlement.
Prophesying politically, I'm saying that 90% of these local government chairmen who led during Fubara's administration will not find themselves to power again because they are not directly the products of Nyesom Wike. And Nyesom Wike has a very large family. Remember that because of this political impasse, his family became larger than it was. He's going to use the opportunity to settle them. Most of them are unsettled. He's going to use this time now to settle them, and these crop of politicians are not part of it, unfortunately. So that is why we were crying for Fubara to come, not to fall for Nyesom Wike. Maybe if he falls for Nyesom Wike, he'll be the only one standing. Nobody will stand with him.
On his part, a public affairs analyst, Augustine Ekweme, says the recent comments by Governor Fubara and the FCT minister shows that the peace process to bring about democratic governance in the state has started, with the two political leaders agreeing to make sacrifices.
At the end of this program between Wike and Kim, there must be a ratable discussion. It's going on silently, and that was what prompted him to make such a comment. He said that nobody should fight for him without taking permission from him. Nobody should do anything without taking permission from him. And he has the shoe that is wearing, and he knows where he stands. I think they will settle at the end of it all. But what Shima has succeeded in doing is made a bridge where
Vice Admiral Ali Bokete Ibas has charged civil servants in the state to aspire for excellence, accountability, and innovation. The administrator said this while declaring open a 4-day transformational leadership training workshop for sustainable development organized by the Rivers State government in partnership with the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, NIPSS. The workshop is for permanent secretaries, local government administrators, and directors from various ministries. Ibas emphasized the need for a modern, adaptive, and visionary public service that is capable of meeting rising citizen expectations amid rapid global changes.
We gather not merely for another workshop, but for a moment of rededication, to reflect, to learn, and to reaffirm our shared responsibility to the people we serve. It is a program designed and specifically tailored to the specific individuals that have been carefully selected in this first phase of the training and retooling of the Rivers State Public Service for greater, effective, and more efficient service delivery.
In his address, the secretary to the state's government, Professor Ibibi Aworika, said the training reflects the administrator's passion for workforce development. Away from that, the trial of 12 suspects accused of murdering late Inspector Christiana Erekiri resumed today at the Rivers State High Court in Port Harcourt. The first defendant, Ms. Joy Uwe Raka, took the stand to open her defense. Uwe Raka told the courts that she had gone to the Taba police station to retrieve a driver's license seized during a stop-and-search operation. Now, she said she met late Inspector Erekere at the station, who was recording the incident on her phone. Uwe Raka claimed that the officer struck her with the phone when she confronted her about the recording. Now, she also told the courts that she was arrested a week later while working in a church in Delta State, where the defendant further alleged that some of the statements she made during the investigation were given under duress. However, this claim was opposed by the prosecution led by Celestine Dixon of the Nigeria Police. The trial judge, Justice Augusta Chukwu, adjourned the case to 3rd June for further defense by witnesses 1 and 2. As you may know, Inspector Christiana Erekere was allegedly killed on 25th April 2023 during a stop-and-search operation at the Taba Police Division in Kana local government area. A professor of strategy and development, Professor Anthony Kila, says the recent rise in terrorist attacks is as a result of the government not taking earlier warnings seriously. Kila said this on Channels Television. Now, he said nothing was really done after past incidents and no strong policies or long-term plans were put in place.
In life, if we don't do anything, if we don't do enough, bad things prevail. What has happened is that there is a war going on between anti-state and the state has not upped this game, and the anti-state continues to move on. After the first attacks in Nigeria, we've not seen policies of deployment plans that shows that something new has happened to us. Let us change our way. Drones were introduced 25 years ago. We have not seen in our intelligence service, we have not seen a surge in CCTV, and it tells you that we do not have that strategic view. Maybe we have it inside us, maybe some experts have it, but they're not being implemented.
We'll go on another break, and afterwards we'll continue with the news. Do stay tuned. And on the international scene, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says Israel will take control of all areas in Gaza and will allow a limited amount of food into the territory. An 11-week blockade has brought Gaza to the brink of famine, but the UN says it has been approached by Israel about resuming aid. Well, Israel's foreign ministry says trucks of baby food, flour, and medical supplies will be allowed to enter the territory immediately. Well, that's the news, but before we go, let's take a look at the highlights. You heard that NAFDAC has raided a fake missionary clinic in Port Harcourt. A fresh oil spill has hit Oshika community in Rivers State, and Southeast representatives are demanding the JAMB registrar should resign and a fresh UTME conducted. And the Rivers State Sole Administrator has called for civil service transformation. On the foreign scene, Israel says it will allow trucks of baby food into Gaza. The news was edited by Martha Okere. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808-721-7215. I'm Constance Irele Mega. Thank you so much for listening. Good evening.
You are tuned in to
Nigeria Info.